the delicious bread. What we're gonna do is just introduction, just name, and how long you've been a member of NJABPsi, and if you've held any positions, and then we will do the same, introduce ourselves, and then we're gonna have.
I guess I'm gonna have to
Soleil show us the pasta making process, so you all can begin eating. Okay? Awesome. So if we can please have the eldest in the room begin and give us permission to proceed.
That would be.
You have it.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Well, I was there at the beginning.
You gotta tell us your name first.
Paul Tillman. I'm a school psychologist for 52 years. I was invited to the first meeting at Dr. George Jackson's home in Orange by, at that time, my clinical supervisor, Dr. Dan Williams. So that's kind of how I got there, and I tried to spread the word with some of the, other people that I knew, but we didn't have cell phones and all that.
No.
So,
telegraph.
You had to reach out and touch people.
and a group of us, one of our bigger concerns was that we would be able to connect with undergraduates and bring people in like that. So I was on that committee with Janelle, brother I haven't seen in forever, Frank Williams, Alan Davis, E. Aurelian, Duncan, maybe some other people, but I'm not really remembering them.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next, we'll go this way.
Yeah, probably. If you're going by,
That's what I thought.
if you're going, because Ingrid was there
Because she was still when
very early on.
Yeah, she was.
I think my interest in ABPsi was. I'm sorry, Ingrid Hill. I was a member of ABPsi. I kind of took a leave from ABPsi because I went into administration and supervision, so I kind of got engaged in the whole structure of the university. But my first introduction to ABPsi was when I was an undergraduate at Livingston College. I had Mel Gary as my advisor. Terry was his. There were about 2 or 3 graduate assistants down there that were very supportive of us, and we would meet. And Terry would always talk about ABPsi. Then once I left Livingston, I went to Seton Hall to work on my master's in counseling. And we were able to bring Dr. Robert Williams came to Seton Hall University. And in talking with him, we had undergraduate students. He actually invited, we had about 4 or 5 of our undergraduate students went into his mental health program out in St. Louis, Missouri, and all of them went, 4 out of 5 ended up getting their doctorates. Because one of the things was in terms of being in an organization that supported our well-being in terms of our own culture.
Yes.
In terms of, one of the things that ABPsi was pushing always, in terms of the Black experience, and that there wasn't anything out there to address the needs of our community, in terms of the mental health illnesses that we had. So that's, I think, gave the emphasis in terms of ABPsi really being one of the, I mean, at those meetings, it was just the energy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, and the masters of ABPsi in those days were outstanding. I'm not to say that you're not here doing it today, but it was the beginning stages of ABPsi.
Yeah.
So when you went to the conferences, there was always that energy, but also you were learning new things that you were never taught in your classes at the graduate level, at least where I was. So it kind of began to create a balance around that. It's really in terms of looking at the importance of our own experience as part of the psychological journey in terms of mental health. And I'll leave it at that for the time. And then we also, one more thing. We also, New Jersey was a very active chapter. In fact, the most active chapters on the East Coast was Washington, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. And we all had a relationship, but we knew each other across, it wasn't this is Jersey or that's, we worked as a team, and we actually sponsored the Eastern Regional Conference in Cherry Hill in the 80s. So it was an exciting time.
Somebody asked
asked us earlier how we found out about ABSI, and it was through going to Rutgers, and Abisla told me about it, but Valerie Scott. But I was saying to maybe you, Monique, that I went to school on faith because my mother was from a farm, my father had an 8th grade education, but she was always, you're going to school, you're going to school, you're going to school. And I had never seen a black psychologist till I met Duncan. I'd never seen a woman psychologist till my master's program. And so being able to be a part of ABSI and then to see Duncan and then to meet Dan gave us connection.
Oh, yeah.
Some of my best friends through life were women I met
Yes.
through ABSI.
Absolutely.
And the people who supported me. I remember walking past my dissertation, walking past my dissertation, walking past my dissertation. And then Abisla said something about a support group, and we got all the women we knew together to support ourselves to get the dissertation done. I remember Abisla and I've held just about every position. But remember, we did student concerns.
You realize it was 7 years that we did that?
Yeah, we did student concerns, and we would reach out to students on campuses and support them. And remember, and the black students on campus. And through, through
we did that.
ABSI, a lot of the jobs I got was through connections with people in ABSI. The one was working with Minority Academic Careers Program, whose whole goal was to get more people of color into doctoral programs and to become faculty members. But we laugh about the fact that we did a lot of socializing as well, but we needed that.
We need
Because, you know, yes, I was from,
media, right?
I went to University of Michigan. I was from circumstances where you were the only black person.
Yeah.
You were the only black person, so that support was so important.
Absolutely.
So our meetings were not just professional support, but social survival and support. I remember when they had that fire at Seton Hall that killed those students.
Yes.
And we went in with student concerns and held a
very
group
much so.
and did crisis intervention and stuff with the students there. We took care of our own students. I mean, I'm sorry to see what's happening now, but you know what? That's what we grew up with. Having our own was important, right? Have our own
Oh,
important.
absolutely. It's even more important now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Dr. Abisla Gallagher. I graduated from the Rutgers Graduate School of Education, and Valerie Scott and I came in at the same time. We were in the interview where they were determining who would be accepted, and we were both accepted. And I learned about ABSI from Duncan Walton. I had never known another black psychologist. He was the first. And when he told me about ABSI, and he told me I met with him my first week in the program, I was shocked and happy. And I came here, I'm originally from Chicago, but I lived in Wisconsin 5.5 years before coming here. And so when I came here, I didn't have any family. I didn't know anyone. I was by myself. And ABSI became like a family to me. And many of and some of the people in the program that I met when I first got it still are my best friends. And that's just how significant this was. And I got so much from it. I came I made all the meetings. And there was a guy, Leakim Samaj, who became, you remember the Leakim? Michael James. He turned his name around. And he was from the West Indies, from the Jamaica, and he eventually went back. He worked at ETS, Educational Testing Services, and then he went back to Jamaica, was a professor there. Do you know he had a radio talk show there, and he also developed a security business. He had various businesses. But eventually Leah came because I didn't know the area, and so he would come up from Princeton, pick me up in New Brunswick, and take me to the meetings. That's how I got to the meetings. But it was wonderful. You got that kind of support. And when I had to prepare for my dissertation defense, I did it in front of a group of people from ABSI. She helped prepare me. So it was really just been an awesome experience here. And it's interesting, there have been times that we thought that the membership wasn't that great. And we'd be concerned, are we going to still survive? But you know what? I know God is all up in it because somehow we always continue, and then it gets, then somehow it flourishes like it has with you guys. I'm always happy to come to these meetings and find there's a nice number of young people who are part of this organization, and it gives us so much. I just love that is continuing, and you guys have so much energy. This organization is like no other professional organization I've been a part of, and that is because we're a family. It's more than just a professional group, it's a family of professionals. So it's, and as far as my participation, I had to bring a list. I forgot all the stuff that we've done. And I know Valerie and I co-led the group. When I looked at my resume, I thought, oh my God, we were doing that 7 years? It was a wonderful experience. And so I think even for now, it's even more important that this organization exists, given what's going on around the country.
And I want to add, remember back then, when we had an initiative to really get white people licensed.
Oh, that's
because
true.
back
That's
then
true.
you had a written exam, but you had an oral exam. And you had to write up a case.
Yes, you had to write the case.
And then defend it to these white men. And it was very clear they did not want you to say that white people couldn't look at black people. So we had questions. Remember, we had a whole pool of questions people could count on.
And people shared their written reports.
Shared their cases. Shared what
we had a
happened
file
in
of the cases.
interview.
I still have some of those. And it was wonderful.
And I want to say on that, the organization petitioned the governor
Oh yeah.
to get a black psychologist on the board of licensors and
Yes, and that was-
and the first one was
Yes, and Dan was the first one. Then
Yeah.
Duncan.
Yeah.
And Duncan became president of the board of psych examiners. Dan said he couldn't deal with that. He said he didn't have personality.
He never talked about getting license plates for psychologists. He said, well, go back.
Who came after Dr. Duncan?
No, it was Ken Roy.
Oh, Ken Roy, that's
Ken
right.
Roy. I don't think he was active in ABC.
No, he was not. No, he worked at Rutgers. He worked in the counseling center at Rutgers University. Ken Roy. Yeah,
And
really.
he was very active in the board, and then he
Yeah.
passed.
Then he passed.
And then
Yeah.
I guess they didn't have any others.
And then Valerie went on.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need more people.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Call me. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
They have the networking, and they have people they call, and they tell them all the stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think that I love about this organization is the support, like I told you, that I experienced. And Duncan also is responsible for a number of very positive and amazing experiences I had as a career, because I had never thought about being on the ethics committee back then for NJABPsi. And back then it was not educative, it's adjudicative. So if someone screwed up, we made the decision of what happened to them. I thought it was for 3 years, but it actually was 6 years. So I was on that. Duncan recommended me for that. But I questioned it, but when Duncan recommended, and as he had done other things, I just said yes. And some of the people on that committee that I served with for 6 years are still good friends of mine. We're close friends, in fact. So I've gotten a lot from it. It's wonderful. And then we had another president of this association who worked for the New Jersey Department of Education, Aileen, and she asked us that they wanted to do a diversity workshop for a statewide student leadership organization for the colleges. And she was an ABPsi member, she didn't like the people that had presented themselves to do the workshop. And so she asked Valerie and I to do
She
it.
didn't ask us, she said, I know some consultants. And she made up a name.
That's right. She made up a name for us and then told us, I want you to do this. She's a former president. And
Aileen Graham.
Aileen Graham, she was a former president. I can't remember the name of it. It was a long name, but we did it. We did, and they loved the group that we had because it was a really group of multiracial therapists who really were committed to this. But right, I forgot she she told us that and then gave us the name. But it was a great experience. And I later started working at the institution where we had the program. And I knew that one of the guys when I became president, and I had known the people before I even got there. And I learned about the position through ABSI. And when I saw it, I knew it was the position for me, and I was there 31 years. So a lot of positive, I've had so many positive experiences.
You must be chomping at the bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Here you go,
Taking it
girl.
all in.
Take it. I could talk about how to bring back all these memories. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. But, no, I was just taking it all in. I'm somewhat of a newbie. When I came into the organization as an invitee guest of my daughter, Dr. Jennifer Jones-Damas, who I lovingly call Dr. J. And when I got here, I remember thinking at one point, it's such a different type of organization. And how I ended up in this organization as an associate member is because I work obviously in a related field. And being in a related field, I was a professional licensed mental health counselor and working or employed as a psychotherapist at one of the hospitals for a number of years. And when my daughter invited me, I didn't join immediately, but I came to a meeting or two. And I think at that time, either Dr. James Walker may have been the president.
James Walker.
And then I think
Jim Walker.
Dr. Joseph Connell. And then obviously Dr. Monique was the following president. So those are the three names that, and obviously now Dr. Barber is the president. But I was so heavily involved in my own state associations, like New Jersey Counseling Association. I was on the executive board. I know you're still on a lot of the email distribution list that I even get. Right. I was also involved with the New Jersey Mental Health Counseling Association. I served as its president, the first black president for NJABPsi. We were under the umbrella at that time of NJABPsi. And it took me a few years to get to that point because I was on their executive board, NJABPsi, for like maybe 7 to 8 years. And eventually, that was something I was aiming for. So it was something that I wanted to continue to do. But when Jennifer said, Mom, you should try coming to one of our meetings. Yeah. And when I did, I was like, oh God, this is so different from
Yes, it is.
This is so different. I felt the camaraderie right away, and I felt just so loved.
I'm Monique Swift, and I guess I'm the baby of the bunch. And yet I'm an elder now, so I guess this is kind of my first experience as an elder. So you're big folks. Oh boy, it's beautiful. I was trying to remember my first how I connected to ABSI, and I don't quite remember, but I know when. I know my connection somehow was in affiliation with the National Association of Black Social Workers. My dad is a pioneer of that organization, and he and I would do annual conferences, we would present together. I found out that there was a psychology NJABPsi, if you will, right? There was a psychologist version of NJABPsi, and I tried to find it. At that time, I couldn't really gain traction. There was someone who worked at the same place that I worked at. We kind of had opposite schedules. I didn't see him often, but I would try to kind of, get next to him to talk about ABSI, and hopefully he would invite me out, because I became a student member, but I didn't know really where to go, or I didn't know anything. So I was just hoping for an invitation, and somehow that never came. So I was just a kind of a student member by payment and not really activity. And I was in Maryland at the time. I moved to New Jersey, and as fate would have it, I was at a CE workshop, and Dr. James Walker happened to be there. And we were talking, and I didn't know who he was, but there was something about him that struck me as really respectful and kind and just a solid human being. And I miss knowing that he's around here. Like, I would love to see him again. But nonetheless, he mentioned ABSI. I'm like, wait a minute. you did ABC here in New Jersey? And he's like, yeah, he was the president at the time. And I'm like, really? And he invited me out. So that was the invitation that I had been looking for. And so I attended, and we were holding meetings at Rutgers, I think, at that time. And that was the rest is history. I connected, became involved, and he would call on me for different things. I remember doing a poster for some event. And then when it came to changing the guard, I was asked to step up and serve NJABPsi as a recording secretary, which I did. And I did 2 terms with that under Dr. Joseph Connell, amazing human being. And kind of the rest is history. After that, I followed in his footsteps, and then here we are. So that's my story. I know we have to move on, so I'll leave it at that.
And here we are.
Well, for NJABPsi, I'm trying to keep it to NJABPsi.
That's important. That's important.
It is keeping with NJABPsi because Dr. Dan Williams from NJABPsi also became national president too.
Yeah,
So-
she did.
Indeed. Thank you for that.
And Dr. George Jackson.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, God.
Awesome. So you're
Yeah,
keeping it
right in there.
Right in, yeah.
Right in line. So yes, that is, and NJABPsi for me was such a huge springboard to everything really that I've been
Yes.
doing professionally.
Yes.
And so,
Absolutely.
my roots are here. From NJABPsi, I did move on after being president for 2 terms to a regional representative, and then will be stepping into the role of national president. And it's been truly, ABPsi has been a gift in my life.
Oh, yes.
It really has been a
Absolutely.
gift. I was relating to what you were
Absolutely,
saying,
yeah.
the alignment with who I am as a person
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so huge. So I'm able to express myself perfectly through the work of ABPsi. And
Yes.
so thank you for hearing.